Hello everyone and welcome back to Mentos Plays Starbound. We are here for episode 4 of our ongoing series on this game. Now I should note that from what I understand, the game will be getting its first major patch tomorrow, which will also include a character wipe. So in terms of that, after this episode will probably be the time when I will have to off camera try to re-establish my save, get us back to around this point off camera, and then jump in back into the game and back into the series on that new save file where I am back to about where we left off. Obviously I can't guarantee that it's going to be exactly the equivalent, but I'm going to try to get us as close to the same point in the game as I possibly can, because I feel like that is the best way to handle things. Now, depending on my time allotment to do so, I may end up trying to get back on pace in a stream. If that's the case, it will of course be live at my Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/MendosMan8, and I will try to play through and then probably record the next episode by way of stream VOD, and post up the remnants of that afterwards. I'm not sure if that's going to be the case or if I'll end up just playing off camera to get back to this point and then jumping into the next episode like normal. Not sure which way I'm going to do it for sure just yet, but either way, we will still be obviously going forward with this series. It's just that at most you might see a day of delay in content on Starbound while I go about returning my save to a viable continuation point. But for right now we are going to focus on going underground, something that due to the size of this planet we did not actually get the chance to do last time. So we are going to be doing a lot of digging today, a lot of going underground and seeing if we can find some good resources. Another thing I learned on my off-camera save is that apparently if you can find a loom, there is an armor set that gives you, I believe it's 13 defense made from leather, which is much easier to get than what its equivalent in metal would be. I believe when I was looking at silver armor, which I also had the opportunity to make at the time, it was about 3 defense more than silver. So I think that it would be a very wise decision to go with that instead. It also offered a lot of warmth, so on planets I wasn't getting the negativity from being cold at night. So it's definitely something that I want to look into. I will be seeing exactly how that plays out, depending on whatever new planet we get, if it has a loom or not. We'll also be switching up planets and going to other worlds. Obviously we're going to get a new one when the save reset happens, but we can also try to explore further from there by way of our ship. I have learned how to take off and explore other planets. Right now I'm just kind of digging straight down, trying to find a sign of a cavern or some ore. I'm not really getting anything just yet. So far it's just been a whole lot of nothing. Yes, I know I'm full. I just ate like 10 seconds ago. Come on. Why am I not finding like any ore anywhere? Seems strange to me. I feel like I should have found something at least by now. Well, let's drop down farther, I guess. Preferably getting out of the stones so we're back in dirt, which is very quick to dig. Okay, we found something at least. Let's plant a torch here. Okay, this is going to open up a little bit for us at least. And like what I see. There's a little bit of iron in there as well. I'm not sure exactly when is a good point to take on the first boss. I do know that, as I kind of predicted, the quest to summon the stress beacon is also the summon of the first boss. So, oh god. I should not have just jumped like that. If that had been a longer fall, we could have had some bad fall damage. So it opened up a tiny bit, but not a whole lot, honestly. We're going to keep collecting some plant fiber as well, because I could use more bandages always. Bandages are not something you want to be short on in this game. Let us slice this down. I do see a little bit of copper up there, but it seems to be just one little bar, or one little ore. Yeah, so that's not even worth it. So I guess we'll continue to dig our way out here, trying to avoid getting too far into water, as having to deal with flooding areas and breath problems, not the easiest way to go about things. But in the meantime, we can continue digging our way through, and hopefully find something nice and fun and full of ore, because right now we are accomplishing absolutely nothing. We are back into a layer of dirt, it appears. I really enjoy the layering mechanics of the world in this game. Although some of the stuff on the lower levels apologies. Some of the okay, let's try that again. Some of the stuff on the lower levels is absolutely incredibly difficult to mine. Even with the gold pickaxe I had in my off-camera save, you know, some of the blaststone area and such was taking me quite some time to dig through to find ore and everything. But up here on these nice little dirt-covered levels, things go pretty quick. Similarly, when you get a very sand-covered planet, things go very quickly. I am kind of nervous about going to a desert planet on camera. You know, the sand with its tumbling mechanics on a small scale isn't too scary, but when it comes to the large scale that you get on the desert planets, it was giving me a few frame rate hitches even with no recording going on, just me playing and nothing else. Whoa. Okay then. It just flooded from below. That is not something I knew would happen. Let's see what's going on over here. We got a little bit more area to explore. But yeah, you know, that type of mechanic where it floods the area with the gravel, the sand, whatever, it works, and it does cause me a little bit of a frame rate hiccup when I'm not recording. So I'm a bit nervous about how things are going to go when I get to a desert planet and I am recording. Because as you know, I don't always have the best of luck with frame rates, even though really there's no reason for them to go bad. Sometimes it just happens. Downside of having integrated graphics card, honestly. Makes me really hope that when I get a job I can get enough pay that I can put together a good gaming PC so that I can actually have decent power behind my video devices. Because as it stands, the lack of a what am I looking for here? The lack of a designated video card is certainly something that you can feel while you're trying to record games and play them at the same time. Not so much a problem when it comes to just playing the games on their own, but when it comes to recording them, it is definitely something that you can see the effects of, which makes me want to and look forward to getting something a little bit more viable. I hate to be underwater like this, but we can start making the sand flood downwards. Maybe we can break through to somewhere good soon. We are causing quite an upset in the water levels. Getting a little bit buried. Oh wow, we have actually drained almost all the water. Where did it go? There must be something underneath this sand that opened up when it was cascading. And that's where all the water went. But that's good for us. Hopefully that area will be big enough to accommodate more than enough water, and we can get to it. Speaking of the areas with a lot of sand flowing dynamics, here we are on our regular planet having one. I guess I shouldn't say regular planet, but on our nondescript planet, since we haven't looked at it in the spaceship yet. All I really know is that since it is the starting planet, it should presumably be threat level 1. And it is probably a jungle planet, if I had to guess. It's hard to tell exactly, but we are going to dig our way through some more sand now. Try not to get too buried. Ooh, I see some ore over here. Ore digs out very quickly when you're in this kind of situation. I really think maybe the water just all flooded into the sand and then got buried by it and just disappeared. Because that is a thing that can happen. Let's try digging down this side a little bit. Just gotta make sure we don't get buried, because you can die in the sand, but only if you get buried by it, which is a little bit difficult to do if you keep your pickaxe going. I do see a couple of empty spots. There's an opening. Oh, and we just cascaded everything into it. Oh, man. Hello, sand. Welcome to your new home. I was kind of hoping that wouldn't happen, quite honestly. Mostly because it does make it so that this whole area down here is sand covered. It is very nice having a weapon which can pretty much one-hit kill anything we run into. Let us see if we can't make this jump up to this copper. Not quite. Let's try that one more time. No? Come on, I can make this jump. There we go. See, I told you I could make it. Just gonna pick out all this copper. Not the most useful of materials, but we can use it to repair our pickaxe. And among other things, I'm sure there are some things I have not yet done in this save that could probably use some copper. We are slowly going to work our way downwards now. I see a little bit of silver in the wall there. That's nice. It's not a lot, but it is some. I would like to make a silver pickaxe at some point. The benefit is that this is in sand, so it should be relatively easy to mine. And the downside, of course, being that we can't stand there and hit it consistently because of the layout of the area around it right now. I might be able to make it so I can stand there, yes. I was going to say, it might be pointless because I might have the silver mine by the time that I can stand, but we can try. We got some charcoal over here. Let's plant a torch down this way. There we go. We also got a nice little vein of iron going on here, which is actually definitely a useful material. If I had to guess, I know there is steel equipment in this game, and judging by the normality of that, steel and coal are going to go together for the sake of making, where was I going with that? For the sake of making steel equipment, and steel is obviously something that would probably be used for a weapon, which we can always use upgrades of. So of course I want to find iron, because even if we don't have a use for it right this second as iron, we may have a use for it in a little ways as steel. Oh god, fall damage. Okay, so we are going to be reborn in our little egg here. I left my drink downstairs while I was getting dinner, so I have nothing to drink until the end of this episode, because I don't really feel like running downstairs to try to get something. Now, do we go to the right or to the left? I would like to just jump right back into this cave here. Oh yeah, those guys are friendly. I probably didn't need to kill them. Now that these guys are trapped, we can just kind of pick them off with the bow, get some leather or some meat. We are actually relatively low on food. Not hugely low where we're at risk, but low enough where I would like to get some more. Oh god. You jerk. Now you just get trapped up here like your friends did. You give me a little bit of leather, not the worst thing. Getting hit quite a bit, honestly. I should probably bandage up a bit. Okay, so this is the path that we didn't take. So we actually want to come back up here and take this one off to the side. Now we are going to have to be a little bit careful, because obviously we had a pretty heavy drop off in terms of our tunnel here. So we are going to want to kind of make a staircase and then mine it away. And that'll allow us to safely drop down without taking fall damage and dying again, since we just did that not too long ago. It'll also be a little bit tricky getting into the room that used to be filled with sand, since that is now a pretty big drop off in its own right. We've reached down to this point. How far do we drop down here? Decently far. I feel like I should keep the camera angled like this a little bit for a while, just so that I can tell where I'm going. Let's go over and down. Okay, now here's the room where all the sand used to be. So here we're going to want to scroll up a little bit, that's fine. And then we're going to make little platforms going down for ourselves out of this dirt. The range that you have to place platforms is really helpful in this game. I very much enjoy being able to place them at a distance like that. I forget which way we were going once we were down here. I believe it was over this way. Yes. And I believe I was trying to get this iron, maybe, when we fell. I thought that was fine sand for a moment. I thought it was all going to cascade down. Okay, this is not the way we were going, but it is a decent way to go on its own right. Let's plant another torch. You can see these little skulls and crossbones floating down on us now, signifying that we are deep in the planet and there are apparently perhaps dangerous gases or something. I'm not sure what that's supposed to indicate necessarily, but it is what we got going on. Let us come up this way. Oh god. Come on. Here, and we can mine this coal. What's going on up this way? Whole chunk of copper. Okay, not the most useful resource we could be getting, but oh, yeah, you don't want to step on those little stalagmites or hit into the stalactites on the ceiling, because they do actually damage you, and it is not fun. They do a decent amount of knockback too, actually. Surprisingly high amount of knockback for the fact that you're just essentially bumping into a rock structure on the ceiling or the floor. Some of it I know is, I believe, called magma rock, which is, I would assume, something overly hot. But like that was just a sandstone block in the form of a stalagmite, and it still did damage to us when we got touched by it. Oh god. I really need to start paying attention to where I'm going. Hello, Mr. Sand Creature. You seem friendly, because you are not attacking me. Oh, dear lord. What are the odds that I fell right through a hole like that? Let's bandage again. We're going to work our way back up a bit, because I'm sure we probably missed something up there. Can't quite make that jump. So we will instead do something along the lines of this, which will allow us to climb. Okay. That guy is not friendly. I didn't really think he was, but Yeah, that's right. I killed you and didn't hit the friendly creature. And this guy's like, I don't care about stalactites. Who are you to be afraid of them? And I'm like, I don't know, Mr. Crazy Armadillo Man. I don't know. But seriously, this is the hole that we managed to fall through. It was like literally the perfect size. What are the odds? Accidentally just put out my torch by having some waterfall in that area. That was unwise. And we really didn't miss much in hindsight, but I can at least get this copper from up here. Okay, then we need another torch down here. We can pick up the one that got destroyed by the water. We'll start mining out some more copper. I am very interested to see what the patch changes. I know it's supposed to be helping with some of the crashing issues some people have been having. Similarly, I think that it might be attempting to switch up the weapon system a little bit and do away with the kind of absurd armor-piercing mechanic, which seems to be where even if a weapon that you find is worse than the one you already have, as long as its armor-piercing stat is higher, it will do significantly more damage, to the extent of finding a random weapon on a planet with a high threat level will be more effective than anything you could have made on your own prior to that planet. Or anything you could have found prior to that. There's really no chance of getting something long-lasting with the armor-piercing mechanic in place, because you're always going to need higher armor-piercing. So when you move on to another planet that's a higher threat level, you're going to find higher armor-piercing, and that weapon is instantly going to become better than what you already had. So I think their plan is to change that mechanic a bit, because right now it is kind of a rather absurd way to handle things, where you really don't have long-lastingness to your weapons. There's no real reason to stick with a weapon that has, that's a fun weapon to use, but has lower armor piercing over a weapon that has higher armor piercing and is maybe not as fun to you, but is going to keep you alive. And weapon progression is one thing, but when it's, anything you find on X planet is going to be weaker than anything you find on Y planet, it kind of goes from a progression to just being, get to a high threat level planet as soon as possible, and you can get a weapon that will allow you to handle everything lower than it perfectly fine. But you'll never find something really good on a lower level planet. And that is a little bit frustrating of a mechanic. So I am happy to hear that they are interested in trying to change that up a bit and trying to make that run a little bit better. We are getting some more silver while we're down here. I know that I normally don't play betas because I feel like, showing off a game before it's complete can kind of ruin the experience, but I feel like this is kind of an exception. The reason why I'm doing a Let's Play on this and I haven't on things like Delver's Drop or Our Darker Purpose or anything like that, is mostly because this is a game that's in its current form is very much along the lines of what the final game is going to be. And they are going to add things like more quests, side quests, stuff like that. There are going to be more bosses, more sectors and everything. But the core gameplay isn't really going to be much different from this. As much as there is to add, this is a pretty good representation of, how the game is going to be when it's through. And I think that's part of what makes me willing to do a series on it where I'm not willing to with some others, is I feel like playing through games, especially roguelikes that don't have, or, stuff like that don't have all their items implemented yet, is kind of a disservice to the game. Whereas I feel like playing through something like this, it's based around discovery, but in a different way than a roguelike is. Instead of being, discovering on a run-to-run basis where things are, the game is meant to grow and be explored more and more as you play more hours. And that translates really well to playing a beta um, on camera and not ruining the experience for people, because the game is always going to keep evolving. It's always going to keep growing into higher amounts of stuff in the game. Um, and so, there's always more to discover than what could be shown off in a quick little series like this. I was a bit hesitant to use that spinny thing. I actually learned yesterday that sometimes they just one-hit kill you. Those things can have like poison gas in them or something that just literally as soon as you pop them open, you die and you're back at your ship. So I was a little bit hesitant to pop that open, but it worked out really pretty much with no value. It was a healing block, it appeared, and since our health was already full, that doesn't really do a whole lot for us. We do have a nice little chunk of iron in the ground here. Let's toss up another torch so we can see how far this goes. Not too much farther. Let's dig our way in. We're going to mine out all of this stuff, then we'll go back for that little chunk in the wall there. So yeah, I feel like this is the type of game that lends itself very well to in-development coverage, whereas some of the other ones that I'm in the betas of maybe aren't as far implemented or just don't lend themselves as well to that. Not to say there's not value in doing a series on those games. I know that some people have, covered both of those very much. But when it comes to, when it comes to my personal opinion, I feel like I don't really want to cover those games quite so much until at least they're feature complete, which I believe Our Darker Purpose is actually almost, if not completely, at the point of, which is why I started to play it a little bit more on camera, but I'm still just holding off a little bit longer on showing that off much. Oh god. That was a horrible fall. There are a couple of lanterns going on down here. Oil lanterns. We got some more charcoal. Got some other stuff going on. And of course we've got this big area that we didn't explore where I can already see some silver. So, in order to get back to where we were before I fell, holy crap, that is a lot of iron. At least I think it's a lot of iron. It sure seems like a lot. Yes? It's kind of blending in very well with the stone around it, quite frankly. Not entirely sure which all is iron and which all is cobblestone. But it appears that this is just a huge vein of it, which is awesome. I don't want to spend too many episodes or anything going through this low area here, but I do also want to try to get as much as I can out of this. Depending on where we're at when we hit the bottom, in terms of resources gathered and everything, I might, given the fact that the character wipe is probably happening tomorrow, just go ahead and summon the first boss and try to fight him. I'm not sure if I am nearly well enough equipped to handle that, but I think it would be interesting to try out, especially considering that, this character as of tomorrow may not exist anymore. So we'll see where we're at in terms of resources and everything at that point. But I think that might be a fun way to end up the episode, and possibly end up this character's existence as a start of the Let's Play. I'm not sure, I might try out a different race. The save wipes might also give me a chance to kind of try out different species a bit. I know with my... Oh my god. How do I keep managing to fall the perfect way to take tons of fall damage? I know that in my off-camera save... See, was that so hard to just land right in there? It's all I was trying to do last time, and you just had to fall and get hurt badly. But yeah, my off-camera save, I'm playing as the Hilotl. I'm not sure how to pronounce that actually, but that's about as close as I'm going to get. But they're a fish type species. Um, I went to a desert planet, and there was a group of the plant species living there, and they kept telling me how my species' eyes were the tastiest part, and how if I did anything wrong, they were going to kill me and eat me. And I found that kind of really, really both a little bit alarming and very much interesting. It's not very often where you run into that kind of thing where there are actually certain situations where you just have enemies straight up threatening to eat you. At least outside of games like The Walking Dead. But yeah, it was a very interesting experience to say the least, having everyone afraid of me, or not necessarily afraid, but just hating my character. Um, it didn't really impact much. Um, that took an absurdly long amount of time to mine. It didn't really impact much. I was still able to go to the shops just fine. I was able to walk around without just getting killed on sight. But it was certainly enough where, you're kind of wondering how long you should stay in this town, because these people are threatening to eat you. And that is not a comfortable situation to be in. No matter what situation you're in, if somebody is threatening to eat you, you probably don't want to stay around that area very long. Here we got a little bit of coal in this area. A little bit more cobblestone as well. Not the most useful thing to us, but might as well mine it. That stuff I can get from below. Should grab that now so it doesn't despawn or anything. We got a carrot, it appears. Carrot seed. I probably should have done something differently, and I think I might have been able to actually get the carrot, but speaking of which, I haven't eaten in a while. I think last I saw I was getting a bit hungry, so I might as well pop some food. Let's dig through this sand over here real quick, see if there's anything going on of interest. Plant a torch down, a little bit of silver ore. Not a whole lot, but we'll go get it. And then we are going to head back to the right and go down that little cobblestone pathway here. There can be some interesting stuff underground in this game. I found at least one trap-laden area. With all the lanterns and stuff, this feels almost like a dungeon type area. It feels like it's kind of somewhere that someone definitely built themselves. It's not a naturally occurring thing. So I'm curious what's down here. I do see a lot of coal. Decent amount of copper. I wish my pickaxe was a bit better at mining this stone here. Because right now this is going quite slowly. I forget, do I have my... I do have my metalwork station with me. I could probably by this point make a silver pickaxe. Might not be a bad idea to just toss together real quick, because it will speed things up for us. So give me a second to mine out a little bit more of this area, because I'm going to need a place to set down my furnace, followed by my anvil, which means that I need enough space for myself to stand as well. So I believe if we get rid of this one block here, we should be able to pop open our inventory, plant down our furnace. Okay, we're actually going to need to put that in our hotbar to be able to place it. Okay, now this silver ore we can smelt. Went to grab a drink again and forgot that I don't have a drink up here. Old-fashioned smelting. Yeah, I think it's only 8 I think it's only 8 silver bars to make the new pickaxe. So we'll definitely have enough, more than enough to make that happen, which should help us quite a bit. I was going to repair my pickaxe, but that seems kind of pointless when I'm going to be getting a new one made. That should automatically bump it up to full usefulness. More than enough of everything to afford. There we go, yes, and fully repaired as well. So we've now got a nicer pickaxe, which it's not going to speed things up incredibly, but it is going to be noticeable, if I had to guess. There's this little guy chilling off to the side here. Not too worried about him. I think he's a hostile. He kind of looks like he would be a hostile. But, yeah, you know, he's not going to be able to get to me very well anyway, so we can just go ahead and mine this coal. We can also eat some food so that we are well fed. And we will continue our journey to mine all this coal. And it appears as though there is some iron behind it. So that seems like more for us to mine. Indeed there is. Remember, we're going to need a decent chunk of iron as well to form that distress beacon. So we do want to make sure we're getting some of that. Let me dig through this. Not sure what sound I hear going on outside, but not sure. It's not a big deal regardless. Still don't know if that guy was an enemy or not, but he's dead now. Got some silver over there, which we're going to need to build a little bit of a pathway to. Oh god, what have I done? How am I not dead? Got some weird stuff going on here. So that had some money in it. This almost looks like a temple. What are you? Well, he's selling a silver pickaxe. He's also selling a gold pickaxe. I suppose I might as well buy it. It's only 380 pixels and this dude is selling it. So I guess we got an even better pickaxe than the one I just made. I wonder if I can just, like, kill this dude. I mean, who sets up a shop like this? Why are you here? I can't kill you. I kind of wish I could, but I can't. So now we've got this somewhat crazy dude down here selling us goods, who just upgraded our pickaxe for kind of cheap, honestly. We have a little chunk of gold in the wall. And then we want to make our way back up a bit, because we did see that silver on the way down here. But of course my missed jump was kind of preventing us from getting that. How far up was that? Is this the way that we came down? Did we really fall that far? I mean, we did take a lot of damage, but I didn't think we fell quite this far. Yeah, I guess this is the same area. Because I see my light up here. Oh god. That was some high knockback. Now, why is there a torch right there? And then just nothing down so far. Oh god. Well, that'll do it for that exploration. With that, I think we're going to build the distress beacon and see what happens. I'm not sure exactly how difficult this will be. But let's go down to our planet surface. We are going to set up camp real quick. To the best of our ability, at least. This guy is friendly. He's not going to hurt us. That guy's not friendly. That guy's not friendly at all. This will also give me an idea for when I remake the save of how difficult the boss is. and what I'm going to need to do to be prepared for him, which will be helpful, of course. God damn you things. Don't get to kill me. I just got back from being dead. Do you understand how that feels? Okay, now let's see. I need a relatively flat area. This should do. Let us set down our campfire first so we have some light. Excellent. Can toss down our furnace over here. And we'll toss down our anvil. Where are you, anvil? Did I really leave my anvil behind in the area I was working with it? Well, that really sucks. Well, we're gonna smelt some iron anyway. How much are we gonna need? Oh, we need 8 for an anvil, right? I need my crafting table put down. Oh no, it's in my hotbar. Okay. And we are going to need for our... Okay, so we do need our crafting table down, and that is going to give us the ability to see what we need to make a distress beacon. Let's toss this down right here, I guess. That'll do. Oh god. Got something blowing bubbles at us. Oh god. That is the first time I've seen one of those birds drop down on top of me. Over here we might as well also cook the additional meat that we have found. We got 5 more. Let's plop that down. Okay, now for the distress beacon, where did my mouse cursor go? Oh, you know what? I accidentally hit F1. That turned off my HUD. So for the distress beacon, it is metal workstation, molten core, and iron anvil. That sounds useful. But where is distress beacon? We need pixels, 2 silver bars, 10 copper bars, 10 iron bars, and 100 wood planks. So 10 copper bars is going to be easy to make. It's 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we hit 50 we can stop this because we'll have enough bars. Excellent. There's that. We will make 10 iron bars. Now actually we could... give me 1 second. Let me pause this real quick. What do I need for this? 35, 70... No, 35, 55, 77 iron bars. I don't think we have enough for that. If we got all the iron that we had left still in the furnace. Oh yeah, we actually will. So we're going to make 77 iron bars. That's going to allow us to upgrade our armor just a little bit. And that'll help us when we place the distress beacon and go after the first boss. So that should be a positive. Like I said, with the character wipe presumably happening tomorrow, I feel like it's a good point in the series to go all out on this first boss, see what we're going to be up against, and see how to handle it on future attempts. Or at least get an idea. You know, we might not beat it, we might die and not have the resources to go again. Whatever the case is, we will be able to at least give it a shot. So this is taking a while to smelt. But yeah, we're going to at least take a look at things, see what we're up against, and see if we have a chance of beating it. And to do that, I feel like making the best armor currently available to us is probably a wise decision. I also have that red stim pack in my inventory. I'm not sure what those do. I have not yet tried a stim pack at all. Okay, so 5 more bars, and we will be ready. 77. Okay, now we also need to take off our armor, as risky as that is. You will be a naked birdman for a moment, while we do crafting. I have copper greaves. Why won't you let me make the hatchling's loincloth? Oh, I already had the hatchling's loincloth. I just need to make the other 2 pieces. Got it. Hatchling's circlet. Hatchling's breastplate. Okay. So now with that equipped, our armor is a little bit better than it was with copper armor. What else did we want to do? I should probably make more bandages while I'm here. Let's say 50. Whoa, not 94. 50. It's not as many as I could have, but then we need 100 wood planks, so we're going to need 33, 34 sets of them. Okay, so now we are going to clear out the supplies that we are not going to need, so we don't have to worry quite so much. And then we are going to build a distress beacon. I think I built 2 of them. Nicely done. I suggest you gear up before placing it. Who knows who will receive your signal? Well, if you hadn't already in the quest description pretty much told us that this was going to be the first boss fight, you did right there. Let's go ahead and see what happens. What? Oh god. Oh god. Those are very deadly penguins. Those are very, very deadly penguins. I wonder if they're still there, if I have to rebuild another beacon to make them be there. I mean, we don't have a chance against that right now, to be perfectly honest with you. Quite frankly, we need better equipment than that if we are going to hope to beat that boss. Because those penguins were doing a lot of damage to us very quickly. And on top of that, they were also not taking very much damage themselves. So, I suppose that answers the question of will we be able to beat the first boss on this episode? And that answer is a resounding no. Let's just make sure things still aren't spawning here. Of course, taking as much damage as I have already. I would want to heal up before they did start spawning again, but I have a feeling that guess we should probably try to have some light while we walk, because that didn't end well. So let us head right back over here one more time. If nothing else, we need to make sure that we have everything that we need. There we go. A little bit more raw alien meat, as unhelpful as it might be. And then off we go to Is that where we were? Because that kind of looks like it's flat enough where it was about where we were. And that kind of looks familiar. And it would explain why I died when I went too far. Because it was area where I hadn't passed over the last time. So maybe their explosives damaged the terrain a little bit? Oh god. I almost just did it again. Go away! Jerk! Yeah, this is definitely past where we were. So I guess not only do they do a lot of damage to you, but they also tend to blow up some terrain and make things unrecognizable. So yeah, I think this is as good a place as I need to call this episode. As mentioned, if the save wipe does happen tomorrow, I will be putting in time to getting our save back to approximately here. You know, I may consider, if I can find a loom on my new planet, I may consider going ahead and making that armor I talked about earlier before restarting the save, before restarting into the series, just because that's going to be very good armor that we're going to want to have, that should help immensely in that boss fight. And if I have a loom, really the only thing that you would be missing out on is me, if I have a loom spawn on my starting planet in that new save, the only thing you would be really missing out on is me hunting animals for leather. So not really a big deal. Regardless, thank you guys as always for watching. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope you're enjoying the series thus far. This will probably be a very, very long series to come. Not only as more content gets added into the beta, but the fact that I have barely scratched the surface of what is actually in the beta right now. So there is a lot still to cover, and I plan on doing a lot more with this. So I hope you guys are enjoying it. Thank you as always for watching, and have a good night everyone. Take care.